Okay, so this week that this is the eighth week of the course, and we are going to discuss about the module 4. Okay, that is the data collection and the remaining part. Like in the last week, we have discussed about how to collect the data. Like I said, it will be observation method, survey method, interview method, questionnaire designing method. Then again, going forward with the qualitative techniques of data collection. Okay, these are the things which we have discussed during the last week, and this week we are going to discuss about the measurement and scaling technique. Okay, so that is one of the very important topic which most of the people are not aware about, and people should understand that whenever they are going for any kind certain kind of any certain kind of analysis over here, they should always understand that whole data analysis goes with the measurement and scaling techniques. Okay, so that is very much important to understand what kind of data you have and what is the right scaling technique are you using for your questionnaires. Okay, so that is why this scaling technique, when the people are talking about, this should be very relative, it should be highly correlated with your so-called questionnaires model. Okay, that is why most of the time it is observed that you should always go for the following the questionnaire designing model with the scaling techniques. So when you will talk about the measurement and scaling techniques, so quite obviously it is a numerical values. Basically, it will be used for changing from your so-called qualitative variables towards the quantitative variable. Okay, so that is why measurement, when you will say about, so it is basically the assigning the numbers, okay, for some kind of symbols or some kind of characteristics. Okay, like if you will take the scaling of 1 to 5, so we can say that 1 is highly dissatisfied, and 5 is highly satisfied. So that is what it is, only indication of the numbers, right? So that part, when assigning the numerical data for the qualitative variables. Okay, that is a part of the scaling techniques for which we generally use it here. And here always we have to understand the nominal scale first. So any kind of nominal scale, when you're talking about it, start with the figurating the labeling scheme in which the numbers are served only as the labels. Like if you want to find out how many males and females are there, so we can code the data, that is whoever will tick for the gender, that in that for male we can code them as a 1, whoever will code them as a female we can code them as a 2. So what I basically happens that here, for each and every characteristics for classifying the different objects in the same variable, we generally go for the coding model. Okay, so that is the role of the nominal scale here. Second, we have ordinal scale, where generally in ordinal scale, what happens that when the same normal scale data, okay, your nominal scale data, you try to give for this some kind of ranking. Okay, at that point of time, your nominal data becomes the ordinal data. Okay, so an ordinal scale is a ranking scale in which numbers are assigned to objects to indicate the relative extent to which the object possesses some characteristics. Okay, so ordinal scales are used to ascertain the consumption perception or preferences. Okay, for example, you can take like respondents may be given with the list of brands, and they have to rank them, which is the one, which is the first, which is the fifth, like that. Okay, so ranking of that data, can be the part of the ordinal scale here. Okay, next is we have the interval scale also. So in an interval scale, generally the numerically, it will be equally distances on the scale represent in the form of characteristics which is being measured. So an interval scale contains almost all the information of an ordinal scale, but it also allows you to compare the differences between the objects. Okay, like branding, you can have the two extreme things, either poor or either good. So in between, wherever they feel yes, they are okay with, so they can put the values there, they can put the tick mark there. So that will be kind of interval scale also, kind of data can be created here. Okay, so all these things you need to use when, or even we have the ratio scale. It is a very special kind of interval scale we have, that has meaningful 0 point. Okay, so with this scale, you can length, you can weight, or if you are finding the distance, this can be measured in the ratio scale. So in this scale, basically it is possible to say how many times greater or smaller one project is. Okay, like sales for this year product A are twice the same of the twice the sales of the product last year. Okay, so here you are basically going to proportionate in the terms of time. So okay, so all these scaling, this either you talk about nominal, ratio, or you talk about the ranking, all these things will be very much useful when you are going to apply the different types of tests here. Okay, so going forward, we have a different type of scaling technique here. Like we have two types. One we say it is a comparative scale, and other one we say it is a non-comparative scale. Okay, so under comparative scale, we have got paired comparison, we have got rank order, we have constant sum, we have Q-shot, and under the non-comparative scales, we have continuous rating scales, we have itemized rating scales. Under itemized rating scales, we have Likert scale, semantic differential scale, then we have Staple also. Okay, so moving forward, we first let us discuss about the comparative scaling techniques. So there, quite obviously, comparative scales, when you will be talking about, so here it always goes with a direct comparison of the stimulus objects. Okay, so here comparative scale data must be interpreted in the relative terms and have only ordinal or rank order properties. Okay, so like which store do you think is better? Like, so here you may have said that is it Big Bazaar, Food World, Total, or Smart? So all compare all this one is there, all your options are there, and here you are going to select which one you like the most. So based upon that, it will be going for the comparative scaling. In case of non-comparative scaling, so there what will happen that here all the scale will be independent in the nature. So once they are independent in nature, you will be just giving them the preference from the scale of 1 to 6, okay, for each and every product separately, so that it will become the non-comparative scale model. Okay, next we have that is paired comparison scaling. Okay, paired comparison scaling. So in that kind of contents, what generally we will try to find is that, like in paired comparison scaling, a respondent is presented with the two objects and asked to select one according to some criteria. So they will be selecting based upon the requirement, like which one is right, which one is good, or which one they feel, yes, it is required very much. Okay, so such kind of things will be done. So here we are going to present to you like 6 pairs of shampoo brands. For each pair, please indicate which one of the two brands which one of the two brands of shampoo in the pair would prefer for personal use. So here you have to select basically the 2x2 kind of matrix, where which one is good for which purpose. Okay, so that when you will be start collecting it, that will become the paired comparison scaling here. This kind of things generally it will be done in the Google form with the multi checkbox grid model. Okay, so there you will be able, there it will be more clear indication for the any kind of researcher to do the data analysis part here. Okay, so again we have a rank order scaling. So here you are trying to create like which one which product is carrying more and more amount of a high amount of demand in the market. So that also you need to check. If you will talk about the brand, so each and every brand, they will be having a different criteria. Like some brand gets sold because of the high quality, some brands will be able to sell because of the lower kind of quality. Okay, so all these things need to be checked in the level of product. Next, we have constant sum scaling also. So when you talk about constant sum scaling, a respondent needs to allocate a constant sum of units, such as stimulus objects with the respect to some criteria. So respondent may allocate 100 points to the attributes given for the particular product. Okay, so quite obviously here the scaling, when you will be talking about, it will remain same between 0 to 100 for all the people. Okay, and so that is how the constant sum scaling technique can be created over created over here. Okay, so that need to be checked always. Next, we have Q-shot kind of scaling technique. So Q-shot scaling was developed basically to discriminate among a relatively large number of objects quickly. Okay, so that is the beauty of this, like mostly highly agreed with, least highly agreed with. You can allocate with some number, and here like the number will not be zero, it will be with the some minimum parameters. With that, they will be trying to give the numbers here. And this technique is very much useful also for the rank order procedure if you want to go for the checking some kind of criteria here. Next, we have non-comparative scaling techniques also. Okay, so in non-comparative scaling technique, generally what happens that respondent, they will start using the non-comparative scale. Generally, when there is a high rate of standards, generally there will be a high rate of intent. And here they do not compare the object being rated either to another object or some specified index, such as your ideal brand. Okay, so here no such kind of comparison will happen at any point of time here. So that is the beauty of the Okay. So continuously with that, like continuous rating scale is also is the another parameter, like where in a continuous rating scale, it is also referred to as a graphic rating scale. Okay, it is also referred as graphic rating scale. So there where the respondents rate the objects by placing a mark at the appropriate position on a line. Okay, that runs the from one extreme to the criterion variable to the other. Okay, thus the response are not restricted to selecting from the marks previously set by the researchers, so they can select anything as per their like. So based upon their where exactly they will be fixing the set there, as per that it will be able to do it. Okay, then we have next is itemized rating scales also. So in itemized rating scale, generally the respondents are provided with a scale that has a number or brief description associated with each category. So the categories are ordered in terms of scale position, and the respondents are required to select the specified category, and the best describes the object being rated. Okay, next is Likert scale we have. So it is widely used rating scale, which most of the researcher without fail most of the time they will be using this. Okay, and the beauty of this Likert scale is that it always gives the perfect results actually for the researcher, and that is only the reason why most of the researchers they will always try to go for the Likert scale technique. Okay, and then followed by here you have like here if you will talk about, you have like one is stands for the strongly disagree, and five is stand for the strongly agree. So there the most of the time it is understood that people can have any, so the people who are conducting the research in HR, marketing, or any kind of behavioral finance, they always go for the Likert scale kind of technique. Okay, so this is how it something looks like one is for strongly disagree and five is for the strongly agree. So it becomes very easy for any research person to go for the whole analysis work here. Then we have something like semantic differential scale also. So it is something like 7 scaling point technique actually. Okay, so based upon the 7 lines where exactly you feel that yes it is done, you can just draw the line there, so that feels that it will become the very closer to the towards, like let us take if you are conducting any kind of research on marketing and you want to know the brand image of the Big Bazaar. At that point of time you can have some parameters, like let us take, you can have powerful versus weak, or you can have unreliable versus reliable. Okay, or else you can have modern versus old fashioned. So in that you can just give them the rating, and they will be able to select the particular order over there. Okay, so next we have that is Staple scale model also. So in this is one of the very unipolar rating scale with 10 categories numbered from -5 to +5 symbol. So if anybody goes below, it will be referred as a negative. If anything goes above the particular line, it comes with the positive lines. There is, but in this case, there is no any neutral point at all in this whole analysis. If you can see in the example, it is everything goes with the numerical data. Okay, so there is no any neutral point over here in this kind of Staple scale model. And finally, we have the multidimensional scaling model also. So where it is a statistical technique which will be used for preference and perceptions of respondents, and it will be representing the visual grid kind of things. Okay, so that can be called it as a perceptual maps also. And potential customers, they will always want to compare the pairs of product, and based upon that they will be trying to do the judgmental kind of things there. Okay, based upon their similarity model. So whereas other techniques obtain underlying dimensions from response to product attributes, generally it will be identified by the researcher, and MDS will always obtain the underlying dimensions from respondent judgment about the similarity of the products. Okay, so the underlying dimensions come from the respondent judgments about the pairs of product. Okay, so that is the beauty of it. So this is how it goes in the 2 into 2 matrix with the quadrants of 4, where it goes with the mild fragrance with the so at the same time you will be able to see the multiple models there, like mild fragrance, strong fragrance, low price, high price. Okay, so wherever they feel, they can just put the tick mark there, so that feels that that is what they are basically looking for. Apart from that, we have a thrust on equal appearing interval scale also. So where yeah, all the things will be considered in the chain of 7. It starts from the unfavorable to the favorable, and people can just allocate whichever they feel is the right for them. Okay, so you can give them the statement of the questions and let them select in the particular record of like where exactly they feel that yes, it suits their personality over there. Okay, so that is also one of the way you can go for the wide range of giving the options to the respondents over here. Okay, then we have something like what are the major characteristics we have for the good measurement. Okay, so the basic characteristics for the good measurement is like it should be reliable. Okay, like reliability in the form of test retest reliability, then alternative forms of the reliability. Okay, then validity also we need to check. So all these things, all the applications will be able to do better in the PSS software, because they are you will be able to do the reliability and validity testing here. Okay, then we have content validity also, criterion validity also, construct validity also, and quite obviously possibility when you will be talking about. So here two things will always becomes a challenging. One is time possibility and another one is money possibility. Okay, so time possibility, when you will be talking about, it should be in the time terms of time period which is available to the researcher, and money possibility is the another, where sufficient funds should be available to conduct the research. Most of the time it is found that a good amount of research will not be conducted because of lack of funds. Okay, so that is also the reason which will always create kind of boundaries for the conducting good researches and all. Okay, there are many agencies who are conducting the research, and they are always appreciating and they are always motivating uh, the individuals to go for the conducting many multiple researches. Okay, in our own institute, in our SJBIT, even the management and the principal side, they give the under the innovation center, they have launched many policies, they have launched many programs where the people can take part of it, and they can submit the kind of proposal which they are planning to do as a research work. And management is always helpful for promoting such kind of events in the organization, because that is what the today's requirement is. Okay, because more and more students should be involved in the research part, and people can take the part there. Okay, people can take the active participation there. So these are the bibliography for the week 8 content which I have used for. So in case of anything, you can always refer your OneDrive, where I uploaded the updated content in your OneDrive as a reference file. Okay, so you all can have a look and you can just complete this content. And this is what we are going to read, and this is what we are going to understand in the module in the week 8 in the module 4 program. Okay, so with this, I will be just concluding my today's thing, and with this, we'll be able to complete module 4 in detail. Okay, so have a nice time. Have a nice time to all. Take care. Have a good day.